Welcome to another episode of Regional Italian Cuisine. My name is Caterina Borsato. On this program, we're going to that lovely area in southern Italy known as Puglia. Now, for our viewers at home, just to give you an idea whereabouts we are, this is a province that's basically bordered by Molise to the north, Basilicata and Campania to the west, rather. And in terms of seas, we've got the Mar Ionio on the west coast, and to the east, you will find the Adriatic Ocean. Now, of course, this is an area where we've got lots of mountains, we have plain lands, and we have seas. So this, once again, is very reflective in the food that they eat and enjoy there. Rita, now, of course, you're going to show our viewers a fantastic recipe called pizza pugliese.
The focaccia.
Which is right. Focaccia. And for our viewers at home, now, focaccia, of course, is sort of in between pizza and bread. Like, how do we explain it?
It's not as thin as pizza, and it's not as big as bread. It's that in between. It's dressed with fresh tomato and olive oil, and
It's a great snack, I guess, focaccia. And
right.
of course, not only can you eat it on its own, and Rita on this recipe is going to do it very simplistically with olive oil and wonderful tomatoes grown in your garden, I know. And I guess we should remind our viewers that the famous tomato San Marzano that I guess where the birthplace of pizza was being in Napoli, this is translated once again in the Puglia area. So viewers, let's follow Rita into the kitchen, and she's going to give us the rundown on making this wonderful pizza pugliese.
Hi, thank you, Caterina. Today we're going to make a focaccia pugliese from the region of Puglia in south of Italy. It's a beautiful light focaccia, and it requires plain flour, potatoes, salt and yeast. So you need 3 teaspoons of dried yeast in 600 mils of warm water. So you just place it in there and whisk it in until it is fluffy. And then that has to sit for about 10 minutes just for it to activate, and yes, that's it. Okay, to start the focaccia, you need 550 grams of potato, peeled and boiled, and then we mash them up. So you peel your potato, and then you boil them till cooked. Okay, I think the potatoes are cooked. So just to see if they're cooked, just with your knife, just pierce into the potato, and obviously if the potato feels soft, then it's cooked. So they're cooked. So what I'll do is strain them, drain them, and then I need to mash them. So now I need to measure out 550 grams of cooked mashed potato. Got my exact 550 grams. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've got the 1 kilo of flour. I'm going to add the 550 grams of potato and the yeast and water. Just pour that in. Four teaspoons of salt. We start first with the whisk, and that will help it to mix in more evenly on so. 4 I'm changing, I started with the whisk, but now I've just started it just so it mixes more evenly. Now I'm going to add the dough hook. So it goes a nice elasticy consistency. Earthquake. Okay, so the dough's been mixing for about 3 minutes and it's really quite sticky, and don't be concerned about that because it needs to be. So you pour it into a bowl. It really is quite sticky. It's great that it's just like claggy. So that goes into a bowl. And what I like to do is with anything with yeast that needs to prove, so this has to prove now for about an hour to an hour and a half, just bless it with a little cross at the top. Because my grandmother says anything that you make with yeast that has to grow needs to be blessed before. Okay, so now you cover it with Glad wrap quite tightly, and that needs to sit for about an hour and a half, hour to an hour and a half, until it's doubled in size. And then cover it with a tea towel. Now that it's been proving for an hour and a half, so it's doubled in size. Look how beautiful that is. So what we do now is we remove the Glad wrap and have a tray and place a bit of oil on the base of the tray, and just with your hands spread the oil. And oil your hands, and then just we can take the dough out of the bowl and we put it into the tray, just knocking out some of the air out of this dough. Sorry, Nick. Then you press the dough into the tray. Okay, now that has to prove again, probably for another 30 minutes, I'd say, till it sort of almost doubles in size. And then we dress that with tomatoes and oregano and oil. That's its second proof. It's doubled in size again, so it's ready to be dressed with fresh tomato, oregano, extra virgin olive oil, and salt and pepper. And okay, we've got the tomato here. These tomatoes are fresh San Marzano from my front yard that Giovanni grew. Okay, I'll put little bit of oregano, dried oregano, just a little bit. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And a bit of extra virgin olive oil. And that's ready to go in the oven at about 200 degrees for about 20 minutes or 15, 20 minutes until it's golden brown. Beautiful. This is a Focaccia Pugliese.
And so, Rita, when we come back from the break, what is the next recipe you're going to be showcasing?
Orecchiette, made by hand. Yes.
And this is a sight to behold, viewers, because Rita has that knack. Orecchiette, by the way, of course, little
ears.
They're little ears, aren't they?
They are
pasta
little
shapes.
orecchiette, little ears.
And you are unbelievable at it too.
Yeah, well, I do enjoy making them, and it's a particularly good vegetarian dish actually. There's no meat required, and broccoli, cauliflower.
Yes, and of course
Beautiful.
vegetables grow prolifically in the Puglia region, and I guess that's part of why this dish has been born, because that is one of the major pastas that can be had or found down there, based on durum wheat.
That's right,
So-
and hot water.
And hot water. Stay tuned.